Welcome to 30AF.
Let's talk about Melody's wedding. She just got married in Bali at the lovely 𝗕𝗹𝗶𝗬𝗧, and this is probably the third week since she's come back.
Yeah.
And I think it's time that we recapped on her wedding. So much has happened.
I know, it just feels so surreal.
What are your feelings?
Overwhelmed, still riding on that high a little bit. It's just so crazy to see like all of your friends together in one place.
Yeah.
And everyone flew in from so far, from like London, New York. So
Which
they
were
took
the furthest?
The furthest, yeah. And people only came for, you know, some only came for like 3-4 days, and it was like so heartwarming just to see
everyone.
Yes, I'm so happy. And the great thing is, you know, my family also had a good time. It was mostly friends, like really close friends, but you know, sometimes the family gets a little separated from the friends.
That's true, yeah. I think they mingled really well together.
They mingled so well, and everyone loved my father-in-law.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
Young at heart.
It's kind of like a school trip, right? Like when everyone's
Excursion,
there. Yeah. And we had all the attention because no one could go out to clubs, and no one could. I mean, there are other activities you could
but it's
do.
an hour and a half away or more.
Yeah. So everyone just stayed in that area and just came to all the events. So that's, I mean, all.
So maybe the trick is to find a very far away place where you kind of trap everyone into.
Yeah, just trap everyone there,
and then they can never leave.
I'm really glad because I got to, so some of my friends came to Hong Kong, and I haven't really spent that much time with them these few years, so I got to spend time with them for a week in Hong Kong. So that was kind of a transitional period, which is good. I'm still riding on a high. Like that week was like, oh, showing them Hong Kong, taking them to like,
it's like
my
the party
favorite
never
restaurants.
ended and you extended it over to Hong Kong as well.
Yeah. But it wasn't like just like a full dead stop and then go back to work kind of thing. So I'm glad I had that little bit of a transition. Usually people do a honeymoon right after, right?
I think it's a bit too crazy when you have a honeymoon.
It's like another high.
Exactly. And you just like, and then you crash quite quickly down because you come back and you're like, oh, this is reality.
Yeah.
That was not real.
Yeah.
That's true. And then were there any like top memorable moments that you had?
It was one of my bridesmaids' idea, and I loved that idea. And she was like, should we just like dress one of the groomsmen up? And then he wore a tutu, and he wore like a whole, like it was a whole shebang, you know. And then he held like bananas as like the flowers, and so that was such a funny moment. And Fizz, the best man, he called me on FaceTime, so I saw the whole thing live.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
Yeah, so funny.
Yeah, those are the fun moments because everyone's so anxious at the very beginning, right? So you get to kind of chill out a little bit. And
I think that's, I mean, the vibe that we're going for at the wedding was just like lighthearted fun. And so I think everything we did was, I don't know, it's that vibe. And also actually pranking the groom, like the morning groomsmen games were so funny.
What were some of the games that you guys played?
So there are two games I really like. So one game was, I think it was the first game, we made underwear, and it was like Boris's face on like the guy's underwear, and then they couldn't use their hands and they had to wiggle to wear the underwear. So it had to start like, from their toes, and then you know you have to wiggle your way up.
That's a good one.
So that was really funny. And the second one is there were 10. We had 10 groomsmen, 10 bridesmaids, so like 10 questions, and Boris had to answer 10, and if he got it wrong, they had to get waxed.
Oh, any part of the body they could choose?
I mean, in the end, everyone's so down to get waxed, and everyone just like lined up to get waxed.
Everyone wants to get waxed.
It's so funny. And then, I mean, Boris knew a lot of the answers, but he just like made it wrong, so we could wax everyone.
It's so funny.
It was so funny, and it was funny because the night before, one of the groomsmen threw one of my bridesmaids in the pool.
Oh,
so it was
revenge.
Yeah, so it was her revenge. And then we basically waxed like, there was like 4 wax strips on him.
On him?
Yeah. Okay. It was like a revenge moment.
Who that person is. Oh, poor guy.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, okay, like you mentioned, I think the the welcome dinner.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
super fun.
Yeah.
Because it was in this really cool pool area, and
Yeah.
then we had like tables lined up on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's a pool in the middle of a dinner, there's always gonna be people thrown in the
I
pool.
know, but
Yes.
it was unexpected because it was like 8 p.m. and people were so
People
drunk,
got rowdy way too early.
and then half of the people were in the pool, and
Yeah.
we were like, oh my god, we
At
gotta
some
stop
point, I thought everyone was gonna go in the pool. I was so scared. And it was and I think when it comes to like people getting chucked in the pool, when the first person gets chucked in, that's when you know that shit's gonna go down. And everyone else is gonna go in. And I was so scared for your parent, like your mom, and then your parents-in-law. I'm like so scared that they were gonna go in as well.
Our friends actually, I think one of the guys actually carried my
like a
father-in-law.
princess carry.
Yeah, and I thought he was gonna throw him in. I'm like,
and he didn't.
He didn't.
Good
thank
job,
God.
Doug.
Good job. Good job. So fun.
Okay, and the one thing I really loved about that tablescape that you had, that was beautiful.
I loved every single decoration component of the wedding, and because I didn't get to go before
to check it out.
So my bridesmaids went, and they sent photos, and then it didn't do it justice, right? Because when you're there, the lights were there, you know, candles lit, you know, it's sunset time, and then everything just came to life, and it was so beautiful. I love I love a lot of like floral with like fruits, and then that was the first night of that kind of the vibe. And then the second day I kind of showed you, we had like a 𝗕𝗶𝗁𝗍 breakfast for the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, and it was like a lot of bread, like green.
It was like bread
and
baguettes chopped in half,
yeah,
and then stood on top of the table,
and then with like 𝗕𝗁 butters around, and it was very rustic. It just matched the vibe. Yeah, they did such a good job. Like
they did a really good job.
Everyone was just on point. Yeah, I'm so happy with. And then the tablescape for the night before was like cut up fruit, and then there were like flowers stuck inside the fruit, placed in the middle of the table. I thought that was a really nice touch. Like different types of fruit. I think there were like rock melons, watermelons, passion fruit, pineapples. Different types of fruits. They were really nice. And then I wanted like sharper colors, so they also added like candles that were in different colors. I think that added that was really nice. Okay. And I also loved like the welcome. I mean, the second day dinner, it was like black and white. Like that was so nice.
Oh yeah, that was actually quite a good touch, because it's very rare to see a black. It was a black napkins. Like the color palette had black inside. Yeah, which was really cool. Yeah, we wanted it to be. I mean, it was black tie. We wanted it to be like old school Hollywood glam, a little old school vibe. There were chandeliers, like drapings. This is Bali, by the way. If you don't remember, like this is chandeliers inside a Bali tent. I know. Not a Bali tent. Was it a tent? It wasn't a tent. It wasn't. It was like patio. Yeah, it's just like those huts. Yeah. So I guess one of the main like things that we had to think about is how do we dress this up but still keep it Bali, because it's still indoor outdoor, right? It's still kind of like a semi outdoor area. It's not like a full tent. So we glammed it up but kept it Bali. Definitely. That was really cool. How about like, I don't know, what was the most touching moment for you? I love the speeches. So I think the first night, Patrick, my yoga teacher, he's like my godfather figure, and he gave a welcome speech, and then he invited us, me and Boris, to give like our speech. And he did such a good job. We just thought, like, we envisioned it like that it would be him, and he's just so good at bringing people together. I mean, he's a very good public speaker, and he's just so zen. So I think he gave that zen, cool, fatherly figure vibe. And it's a good start to the wedding. And then on the second day, I chose my godmother, who came all the way from LA with her mom. So beautiful. And she was our wedding celebrant. So she had her sparkly, all decked out gown and book, because she was like, it's you reminded me from Elle from Legally Blonde.
Yeah,
she like gave me all the Legally Blonde vibes.
I love it. I mean, she was basically
hair, lovely pink gown, and she had the pink book. I was like, it was literally giving me Elle Woods.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, Elle Woods. I think that's the vibe she was going for. But she gave such sweet but like fun. It's very golf. Yeah. It's so funny because she doesn't play golf, so she did a lot of research, and she did such a good job.
I teared up listening to her.
Really?
Yeah, you could tell that she had so much love for both of you.
She's so sweet.
She's really sweet.
Yeah.
Don't tear up.
I miss her. I'm gonna have to go back to
one
LA.
Moment I really loved as a guest sitting in the crowds was because you had a really long train. So Melody had not only did she have a beautiful gown that had a dress, a train, her veil also had a train as well.
Oh my god, it was so long.
It was really long, but you know, it was dramatic.
Yeah.
And you needed dramatic at that kind of entrance. And because as you walk down, your train is fine, right?
Yeah.
But as you turn around, that's when the train gets wrapped around your legs and it gets really tough. And anyway, in general, that's a really tough thing to turn around the train and then readjust it. So your bridesmaids would totally take care of that. But once you finish getting married, you say yes, say I do, then the most important shot is to walk out, turn around, walk out with your husband, and then you go for the dip, right? Or you go out and have an entrance. So at that moment, your dress was a little caught on the stairs. But your mom came out and ran in and went bam.
Really?
Yeah, she fluffed up the back of your dress so that your photographers could take the perfect shot of the back of your train.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she like literally like snap moment came out quickly, like when you turn around and you walk up the stairs, like took your train and flapped it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She was like very quick on the mark.
Oh.
She got the perfect shot for you.
Oh my god. Yay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the photos yet. As a guest, how did you have fun?
Yeah, I had lots of fun.
I like there's so many people and I didn't spend a lot of time.
It was a perfect party size, I think, because it wasn't, I mean, I think you had like less than 100, right?
We had like 100, like 97.
Yeah, I think 100 is a very good party size because you actually got to know most of the people there, and you spent like 2 days together doing welcome and the morning and then the night. I thought that I loved the welcome dinner first, and I loved like that still secluded area where we got this where we had the pool, and then you had the beach on the side. It was just a very secluded area that was an easy first meet for everyone.
I saw you mingled with my friends. You got to
they're
meet.
so fun. Melody has great friends. Your girlfriends are so sweet.
They're all so I just love all of them.
So then I met them as well, and I think I've heard about some of them before. So then it was very natural. The funny thing was when I got
everyone knew Chamani.
Everyone knew who I was already. So
you're the podcast girl.
I didn't need any introduction, which was like a very easy.
She's like a celebrity.
No, it was just because they were like, you're the other half. You're the other half of the podcast, so that's why it was so easy to make friends with everyone. It was raining. What are your thoughts on the rain? Were you scared?
In the morning?
It was raining in the morning.
It was funny because it was raining in the morning, and then we were doing the groomsmen games. So we actually, there were like the first part of the games, it was like just completely like everyone's drenched already, and then but there were like my bridesmaid like held umbrellas, like the the 𝗕𝗶𝘁𝗰𝗵𝗲𝗱, like the really cute umbrellas. So I think I wasn't like, I think normally I would panic,
but your spirits were high still.
My spirits were high, and then I remember I think my mother-in-law told me that if it rains in your wedding, it's actually a good blessing. It's a blessing. So it actually rained on the day when we signed in December. Like in the morning it rained a little bit, and then the sun came. So that was exactly what happened. So it rained in the morning for a little bit, like during half of the games, and then the sun came, and it was quite hot. And so I think it's good to get just other elements of the weather. I don't know.
Uncertainty.
I guess you just have to embrace it. There's nothing you can do.
It makes it fun.
I was kind of freaking out because my hair was getting humid and my dress was getting wet. But it's like whatever. Like
I think that like that's when they say like you gotta chill out because nothing will ever go to plan, and then you're gonna love the little things that did happen because it makes the memory even stronger.
So I think the month before the wedding, so in August, it was really, really stressful because that's when everything had to be confirmed on paper. It wasn't an idea anymore, right? It was like actually
so the wedding planner needed you to confirm everything.
And then, but I think the week going into the wedding and during the wedding, I had a really good mindset because I think it's like I just gave up, like, you know. I mean, not gave up, like the mentality is, you know what, this is it, let it go. Like this, you've been planning this for so long, there's nothing you can do right now, so just trust that everything will be fine. Just trust that all the vendors you handpicked, you know, you handpicked them for a reason, and they're all gonna do such a good job.
And they did, and they really
and
did.
I just really let it go, and just enjoy the moment, right? And I think for how busy we were, I think we did such a good job just soaking in. I think that's the best we could have done. Like,
I think whatever was a result is your wedding, and you're gonna remember it forever, and it's gonna be perfect in your point of view, in your memories. So why don't we go to tips? Like, what were like the top 3 tips that you had? I think everyone's tips are different as well.
I think well, actually a lot of people ask, oh, so what was the wedding like? You know, it was a really stressful planning. Yes, it was really stressful planning. But I think it's a really good, like, Boris and I reflected on the wedding, and we think like it feels like we can do anything now because it feels like it was such a big challenge, and it's such a good, it trains your communication really well as a couple, because so many things will happen and you just have to communicate what you want. Sometimes someone will hide something that is important to them,
and they won't explain or express their
or until the last minute, and then you have to make changes, right? So and there's so many details, you really kind of learn just everything about that person and how you kind of work together. So I think, for example, a tip is really be aligned in the beginning with your partner, with the vision of the wedding and what you both really want. Like, list out the important stuff that you both really care about. So I cared about like the visuals, like I wanted my vision, the aesthetic,
the mellow aesthetic.
And then Boris really cared about speeches. So we made sure that we picked the right people to give the right speeches. So everything was very us. Like, we planned everything to the T. And I hope as a guest you felt that.
I felt it because I loved all the speeches as well, especially your father-in-law's and also Boris's best friend. And I think it was obviously he flew from a really, like, he actually flew from London, so it was a really far trip for him. But he was also emotional about how far he's come as well. I can say that I've been to a lot of weddings and there's a lot of best man speeches, and some of them go into like a very bro-y, like, we used to shoot guns, border guns and play, some really bro-y stuff that you like, funny, but like you, like, it's not memorable, and it doesn't really shape the person and shape the character of the person. But I loved his speech because he really delved into like their history as friends together, the context behind it, like what had happened and how he's grown as a man, and what he's seen now, and meeting you guys 10 years later or 12 years later,
and so like what makes Boris
exactly, right? That was really sweet.
I want to go back to stress and anxiety, and I think planning the wedding was really stressful. Is it like a self-inflicted stress? Maybe. I think maybe like just me as a person, the whole lesson was really to learn to let it go. I
saw Melody 2 weeks or 1 week before you had to fly for the wedding. You were calm. You're already saying, there's nothing I can do, and you just need to trust the process.
It was so funny. My hair and makeup team, they flew in from Hong Kong, right? I trust them. So I think just making sure that all the vendors are good, and you actually know who they are. I think that's part of the trust. And then so when we were doing the makeup, we were meditating. We were all like listening to like meditation. It was so funny. So I think just making sure that everyone you pick and all the team you have around you is exactly the vibe that you want. So that really calmed me down. back to stress and anxiety. Maybe some of it was
surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah, surround yourself with the right people. Make sure you really do your research and pick all the vendors, because I cannot stress enough, if you don't like them or you don't know them, it will stress you out. Yeah, because wedding is such a, it's a big event. You tend to overthink a lot. So remember, we talked about trying on a million wedding dresses, but actually we had a very good intuition on the dress we actually want.
It's always the first dress.
It's always the first few dresses. And then, but we end up trying like a million and overthinking and stressing ourselves out.
Because everyone tells you, oh, just try more on so you know what you want. But then the funny thing is, it's always the first few.
It's always the first few. It's always your gut feeling, and it's always right. Remember that story I told you about wanting to try on that dress, and then they didn't have, and then they scammed me in Hong Kong, and I flew all the way into Korea. That is the first dress I wanted, and I bought that dress.
And it was that dress.
It was that dress. So trust your intuition. Also, it depends on your planner's communication with you. Some are really good, some, you know, some are really busy and they might not be able to prioritize you. So some really only focus on your wedding maybe 2 months before. So, but when you have 10 months in, you're stressed for the first few months. So
it's like an industry practice that, you know, you sign a contract 10 months or 12 months beforehand, but they actually only work with you they only work with you like 2 months before the wedding. Third tip. One of the biggest tips that I can give is that it's very easy to trap everything in your head, and you start thinking and thinking about it because you're not writing it down. Or there's no one central place where you're communicating with your wedding planner or your spouse. So what we did was we had like a spreadsheet, and within that spreadsheet it had, you know, the rundown of the wedding, the budget, how much we were spending. We had like, you know, MC, like what are the things that they had to talk about. We had, so within the spreadsheet it had literally everything. So if you are interested in getting the layout or the structure of this template, feel free to just DM us in the comments below. Maybe write
we want the spreadsheet. We want the what? I'm stressed about my wedding. Help me.
just maybe comment for 𝗕𝗹𝗶.
Yeah, reach out to us. We would love to help you.
Yeah, we love to help you. Think of us as your wedding,
your big sister. So just reach out if you need any help. She's been to many weddings. She's hosted 3.
You've been to many weddings too.
Yes,
we both have.
Yes, so we got you.
We got you. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.